अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाजरीन, आप देख रहे हैं प्रोग्राम एक्सपर्ट एडवाइस और मैं हूं आपका होस्ट शकील अहमद। नाजरीन, आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे, आज हम बात करेंगे प्राइमरीली व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन देयर इन यूके, और इसके लिए हमें आज ज्वाइन किया है ब्रुनेल यूनिवर्सिटी लंदन के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव मिस्टर अली बख्श ने। तो आज उनसे एक्सप्लोर करेंगे कि यूके के अंदर करंट कोविड-19 क्या सिचुएशन है, हमारे जो डिफरेंट इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके क्या हालात हैं, और उसके साथ साथ अभी कमिंग इनटेक्स के बारे में जो एडमिशन्स वगैरह का सिलसिला जारी है वो किस तरीके से जारी है, और हमारे ख़ास तौर पे जो इनरोल्ड स्टूडेंट्स हैं पाकिस्तानी स्टूडेंट्स, उनको किस तरीके से यूके के अंदर फैसिलिटेट किया जा रहा है। मिस्टर अली, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस फ्रॉम यूके एंड वी आर रियली ग्रेटफुल टू यू दैट you have given us a time. Please tell us something about the current situation that's going on there in London and especially the whole country, about UK as well.
Mr. Shakeel, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Ramadan Kareem, obviously, to yourselves.
Thank you. Pleasure.
In regard to your question, how is the current situation in the UK? Then the situation is changing all the time. It's very fluid. The UK government has been very dynamic in how they've responded to the situation. And I would say that right now we're in social distancing mode. The lockdown is still in effect. Although in the media there's been some discussions about the lockdown easing up in the coming weeks, but we'll have to wait and see. I think the UK population on the whole has been following the advice of the government and staying home, trying to stay safe and trying to protect one another. I think focusing a little bit on the education side of the topic. The sector from schools through to universities, they've been very resilient and they've been quickly adapting to the situation. Mind you, not all universities, not all schools or colleges have been very active in the online delivery domain, but I think it's just forced everyone to look at that aspect of the business.
That's really great. That's good. That's good. I mean, the UK initiatives that are taken by the government, they're really encouraging for the whole world as well, because the population and if we talk about the citizens, they are really following the rules and regulations or the instructions given by the government over there. That's really encouraging and appreciating. Alongside, I'll be asking Ali, what kind of facilities, what different facilities are being provided by university in this current situation to the Brunel University students who are currently studying there in UK?
In terms of facilities for current students, the universities, we're offering some key support to them. Number one is communication of information and decisions.
All right.
Trying to ensure that our current students are fully aware of any new developments, both in the UK and any decisions made by the university that would impact them. So we're striving to provide them with relevant and up-to-date information when possible. In this regards, we have an information hub set up for different communities, including current students, staff, and prospective students. And this can be found on a website, which is www.brunel.ac.uk. So communication is number one. Number two is the university is working closely with the NHS. And we are monitoring the situation with their help and assistance to ensure that we are offering best practice response to limit the risk of any further spread. So yes, our senior leadership team meets regularly with the NHS to ensure that we are fully aligned with them. And then in terms of campus events and facilities, at the moment the campus is closed, but some services remain open. Obviously, education and support services being the case, we maintain campus security during this period, and a number of critical staff to support students in residences are also on campus to ensure any support needed by students staying on campus receive that.
Okay.
Cost Cutter, which is our mini supermarket, is open for supplies, for food supplies, along with the pharmacy and medical center. All other buildings are closed in line with government advice. Just two more points. Thanks to Brunel Sport, all students and staff are able to access a 60-day trial of a popular online, on-demand sports program, just to keep us all active and happy. In terms of teaching and assessments, yes, all our teaching and learning resources have now moved online. Current students are being contacted by the departments with any particular arrangements, and spring examinations have been replaced with online assessments or alternative forms of assessments where necessary.
Ali, please tell us a little bit about Brunel University, UK.
Yes, so Brunel was established in 1966 after it was awarded its Royal Charter. The name Brunel comes from a famous 19th century engineer, an important figure in the Industrial Revolution. So he built bridges, dockyards, the Great Western Railway, steamships. So a lot of the technologies that you and I would take for granted today, he'd help establish. And that's what we try and instill within our students, entrepreneurial and enterprising spirit. Just in terms of, I guess, some standard rankings, then we frequently feature in the world top 500 universities on the QS World University Rankings, on the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. One of my favorite, the Times Higher Education 2020 International Outlook Rankings, where we are ranked 34th in the world, which I believe is quite amazing. It's a test.
Oh, that's great.
Student body. So we have approximately 14,000 students, of which approximately 3,000 international.
Great.
We also have a fantastic body of faculty and academic staff, also from an international background. So that's on the international side. Now, just some general, I guess, benefits of the university. And this is one of the reasons why we have so many international students. Number one is our location. We're easy reach of London Heathrow Airport, and so about 25 minutes, in fact, away from Heathrow Airport. It just means that the transition for you when you're traveling from, let's say, from Pakistan to the UK to study at Brunel, then it takes you less time to reach us. And then equally, we're also about 45 minutes away from central London. So, you have the opportunity to study in an environment which is conducive to your studies, but then London is at your doorstep, as we say. The other thing I'd like to say is we have a lovely West London campus. Everything's contained within the campus, so it offers a lot of convenience. I think I touched on, pharmacies, medical center. We've got a mini supermarket, loads of cafes, and loads of social venues. And then, obviously, the student community. I think it would, the university or the campus would be nothing without the student community. So we have, 150 different nationalities represented on campus.
Great.
More than 150 different clubs and societies on campus.
Good. It's fantastic to know about Brunel University. As you have mentioned the different points, they're really of an inspiration for international students to study at Brunel. Ali, moving ahead, the current situation and the current semesters of the students, the semesters are entirely disturbed. So what about the mode of instruction among teachers, trainers, and the students now? Which dynamic you have? I'm sure that you have changed yourself toward an online learning. So tell us, is this an easiest way to communicate with the student in the same way as it was earlier? Or you're facing few problems from student end to grab the system?
Very good question, and I'll try and give a very honest answer. I'll do my best. Yes, just to take your words, we have moved all teaching and learning facilities, resources online. So our current students, are being contacted by the relevant departments to make sure they have all the support they need in terms of their learning requirements. I think equally there's a broader concept here, which is student experience. So the learning and teaching forms part of that student experience. So we're well aware of, obviously, their challenges, I should say, both in terms of delivering online content, especially for institutions that do not have not historically specialized in delivery of that aspect. And then at the same time, Mr. Shakeel, I would also say that for students consuming content education online, it's not as straightforward as that. You can imagine a student that was previously on campus and very much used to face-to-face communication and education. They've also had to adopt themselves in terms of how they consume the education. So a lot of there's a learning curve on both sides, I should say.
I must say that I can understand, because this is a new system everywhere in the world, because the world was thinking to go online in 2028 approx, but COVID has just stretched this tenure within 8 days, if we could say. So of course it's very difficult for students to just grab the system, a new system to adopt. So adaptation will definitely take some time. But Ali, tell us something about the current semester. The students are enjoying their studies online, and I must say this is a fantastic for them, because they can review the lecture time and again. If their time does not match with the classes, so they can watch it later on and they can grab the lecture and they can enjoy the lecture. But on the other side, as you have mentioned, there were a few drawbacks to adopt it. They are also being observed over there, not only in UK, everywhere in the world. Proceeding ahead, what about the next semester? What do you think? A student would be capable, or you think that there will be a situation, normal one, in coming September, and student would get a chance to study in person on campus?
Brunel's stance on this is as follows. We are cautiously optimistic and still proceeding with our September 2020 intake, and so including the planning and the organization around it. Obviously, we're making some assumptions, maybe some optimistic assumptions that the situation will improve. So that's a scenario we're working towards. But I would also say that as a university, we are keeping an eye on other options. So we're assessing the feasibility of the different options. I'm sure that your previous guests on the show would have provided some information about an online semester in autumn, and then students starting their face-to-face experience come January 2021. So that's obviously another option that we are also exploring.
Yeah, we all can hope for the best time to come for September 2020 for the students. Ali, what about the different courses that you guys are offering, especially the Brunel University? What are the variety of courses that you think they are of great interest for Pakistani students to study for upcoming semester 2020?
So we offer a range of courses: undergraduate, postgraduate, and research. And your classical courses like business, engineering, computer science, and law, we offer those. What I've personally seen is a lot of demand, obviously, for law. I think law is quite a popular course. And then business studies, business and management, very popular subject area even. So those I think demand for those areas we expect to remain. If I was to highlight some new subject areas, some innovative subject areas, one course that comes to mind is an undergraduate course. It's called BASc. It's a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences. So it's a multidisciplinary course, quite unique. And it's in global challenges.
Right.
And quite relevant, I guess, to the current situation and circumstances. So this is quite a unique course. It allows our students that graduate to go into NGOs, into foreign office roles for foreign ministries. So it's quite an attractive role, but obviously it's something a little bit innovative.
That's really great.
Which might appeal to some students.
That's fantastic. I'm sure that Brunel University has the variety of the courses for undergraduate, postgraduate, and the research programs as well. So here, from Pakistan, a lot of different students, they opt Brunel University for their higher education. So what about the eligibility criteria? I mean, what they have to show while going for the admission at undergraduate degree and then postgraduate one. General requirement for the admission, please.
Yes, if I can give you an average for undergraduate, we typically accept for first year entry 3 A levels. For instance, at A levels we need 3 subjects. Really depends on the course, but average I would say BBB grades. And then at postgraduate level, obviously students that have completed or about to complete their undergraduate studies in Pakistan, we're now looking to do a master's in the UK at Brunel, then the entry criteria ranges anywhere between 2.4 to 2.6, depending on the institution. So that just gives you like an indication of what our key requirements are. Obviously, we have foundation pathways by way of our pathway college on campus. So for students that take the national curricula, the HSC, for example, the pathway college offers them that opportunity to study at Brunel.
Okay, that's great. Ali, you know, in this current situation, a lot of different students, the sharp minds, the talented students from Pakistan, they would definitely be looking for some sort of scholarships as well. So what about the scholarship opportunity at Brunel University?
So we offer a number of what we call fee incentives or fee support programs. I'll just list a few of these, but obviously your viewers can visit brunel.ac.uk/scholarships, and they get a complete list on there. We offer something called the Brunel Graduate Discount. So for students that for instance, you know, if you have siblings studying with us, then one of them can get some form of concession. Or indeed, if a student that is coming to study at Brunel and they used to have a brother or sister or a relative that used to study at Brunel, equally they can benefit from this scheme. Then we have another type of scheme, which is the International Excellence Scholarship. This is merit-based. There's a limited number for September 2020 intake. And very competitive. The last I checked, we had nearly 2,600 applications for phase 1 of this scheme. So yeah, lots of schemes. We have an MBA scholarship package. We have a College of Engineering, Design and Physical Sciences. There are a lot on the page for your viewers to go through and see which one's relevant for them.
All right. Ali, because a lot of different students from Pakistan, our youth even want to know what is the cost of different undergraduate program. I'm sure there are a lot of different programs and they would be having a different fee structure for them, but what an average fee for undergraduate and postgraduate programs at Brunel?
Yes, so our fees really sort of vary by subject area. Typically for engineering and technical courses, we have a higher requirement, a fee requirement. And then for other subject areas, more so on the art side, then the fee requirement is a little bit lower. But if I was to just give you an average, I would suggest we're looking at approximately 16,500 as an average fee per year, tuition fee. Obviously, add on top of that living expenses. Living expenses at Brunel is quite reasonable. Accommodation on campus is approximately £600 per month. And then food and drink, obviously that's a variable cost depending on the student's lifestyle, but that's approximately, let's say, £400. So anywhere between £1,000 to £1,200 is quite a comfortable budget for an international student. I would also say that students have the opportunity to work at the university. It's part of the TFO visa provision. Depending on which level they're at, it could be up to 10 hours, it could be up to 20 hours. We have a dedicated professional development center. It's an award-winning center that offers support to our international students, home students, in terms of part-time work, voluntary work, and also professional work opportunities, work placements, which are built into the undergraduate programs. And increasingly, we now have postgraduate courses at Brunel that offer a 1-year work placement option. So really sort of attractive packages there.
That's really great. Ali, what about as you have already mentioned about the eligibility criteria for undergraduate and the postgraduate programs, But here in the current situation, the British Council, AEO and other IELTS conducting authorities, organizations here in Pakistan are closed and they have stopped working. I'm sure the same situation is everywhere in the world where they have got the centers. So what about an alternative of this IELTS requirement? Do you offer any alternative of it?
Yes. We offer alternatives. We are currently accepting Duolingo, which is a third-party English test. I believe they have their own website, so students can go on there, book a test. So we accept that. The other test that we have recently approved is the password test.
Okay.
And so those are two additional tests that we've approved. And I can also say that we're currently exploring a few other English tests that we can accept, just to offer our students or applicants, maximum flexibility.
All right, that's really great, because keeping in view the situation, university had to find out some alternative, and that you have done it. Ali, proceeding ahead, what about admission cycle has slightly been disturbed. Student here in Pakistan, they are confused about that either it's a right time to apply or not. Should they proceed ahead for admission application or not? So what you have to say to our audience, is this a right time to apply for Brunel University, or they must wait and see for the situation that's going on in future?
This is a good question, Mr. Shakeel. I think, my view on this, my opinion is, education is a viable investment, now and in the future, probably more so now under the current circumstances. And we don't have any application fees, so applications can be submitted readily through the website at postgraduate level, and at undergraduate level, then students can apply through UCAS. Obviously, UCAS would have their own charges, but equally, if undergraduate students apply through one of our approved representatives, including ABN, then that's another option for students to explore. So there aren't any considerable costs associated with submitting an application right now. If anything, it gives you a clarity as to where you stand in terms of your eligibility for the course. And then obviously with that offer letter from Brunel, you can wait and see how the situation develops. And if you're really interested, then just follow through the remaining conditions, and hopefully you can start your studies sooner rather than later.
Yes, this is very important and the technical information for the students, because as you have mentioned, there is no cost involved to apply at Brunel University. So I suggest even students to apply at earliest, because they have a chance to grab their admission for coming September 2020 intake. And alongside, I'm sure, as the flux from rest of the world has decreased, at the same time, there are greater chances to get a scholarship on earlier basis. I mean, the first come, first serve basis. Scholarships options are even there for the students who want to apply in this situation.
Yes, Mr. Shakeel, valid point. I think just linking into scholarships, as I mentioned earlier, we have the merit-based scholarship scheme, which is the International Excellence Scheme. And, the earlier you submit your application for that, then the earlier you get to know if you've been selected for that scheme or not.
That's really great. Ali, admission, the criteria and the admission cycle of the whole year has slightly been disturbed. So students are confused. They even want to know if they apply to Brunel University. So there is a possibility, as I'm talking about the student confusion, they might think that university may not respond them in time as the current situation is going on. So just little bit elaborate about your working. So I'm sure the working has not disturbed, but for our audience, for our student youth, tell us that how you're working these days, and what about the response time from your end to the students?
Yes, Mr. Shakeel. So most of my colleagues, including myself, we're working from home. And this is a new way we're working for a lot of us. But we're fully equipped. We have all the right technologies, computer, mobile devices to continue doing what we need to do, both in terms of our current student community, our staff, and our applicants. So we have all the facilities to do what we need to do. Yes, there might be some changes in processes, let's say, for instance, on the admissions side of things, but that shouldn't translate to large delays in terms of when students receive a response on the application or when they receive a response on any queries. Generally speaking, I think we're well within our service, our expected service levels as we had prior to the lockdown situation. Yeah.
All right. Ali, as the rest of the world, the rest of the universities around the globe, they are facilitating students, keeping in view the situation, because as their respective institution in their respective countries are closed at the moment, so they might have got some sort of disturbance or the problem to collect or to provide the complete documentation for admission purpose to the university. So what you have to say about this? Are you guys facilitating these students in terms of documentation facilitation as well?
So what I can say on that is we would like to reassure all our applicants and prospective applicants that we'll be offering maximum flexibility where possible to ensure that any of our applicants are not negatively impacted by delays or cancellations in exams. So flexibility is a key word I'd like to use in terms of answering this question, and that's what our admissions team and indeed other teams at the university are working towards. Yeah,
that's great. I'm sure that university, as you have mentioned, is there to keep the flexible requirement for the students at the situation, so that different and the multiple and a great number of students can achieve their admission rightly in time. Ali, one important question with respect to the visa ratio. What do you see? I'm sure this is very prior to ask at this moment, but what you predict, will UK student visa be affected due to this COVID-19, or you think that the visa ratio would definitely get increased?
Wow, yeah, this is a difficult question to answer, but in my opinion, Mr. Shakeel, it all depends on how the situation evolves. Obviously, there's different scenarios in play. If the situation improves in time for September, then you might see something emerge in there in terms of visa applications and success rates. On the other hand, if the situation continues and most of the students start in January, then I think that's gonna change how the UKVI operates. So really difficult to say at this stage how that's going to change. But I would say, I think in the long run, obviously short and medium term, there's some pains to go through for the UK higher education sector. But in the long run, I think the trend is going to be positive. I think if we look at the trends historically, even let's say after the SARS outbreak in 2003 and 2004, I think the general trend was, the recovery came through. So we will see a recovery. It's just I think we're not quite sure when that's going to come through. Yeah.
That's great. That I can understand. You are not the authority to ask about, because I just got an idea about, because working with the university, connecting with the students all the day from around the globe. So that's why we wanted to take your insight in this. Apart from this, Ali, do you have any message for Pakistani students you want to give it in the end of the interview?
No, Mr. Shakeel. I think first and foremost is staying safe, staying strong, and continuing to engage with one another, obviously in distance, and continuing to progress with any education plans, because as I said earlier, education is an investment, but obviously it's about finding the right institution. And we certainly hope that Brunel is an institution that your viewers would consider. Thank you.
Mr. Ali, thank you very much for the precious time that you have given us today, and you have completely discussed about Brunel offerings, programs, fee structure, admission cycle, and all the confusions the Pakistani students may feel about Brunel University. That I'm sure that has been cleared. So we are thankful once again. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
जी तो नाज़रीन, आपने प्रोग्राम देखा, उम्मीद है आपको पसंद आया होगा। अपने फीडबैक से ज़रूर आगाह कीजिएगा। कल हाजिर होंगे एक नए एक्सपर्ट एडवाइस के साथ, तब तक के लिए इजाज़त दीजिएगा। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।